How did Dwarven lords receive the 7 rings of power? Imagine a time when mighty Dwarven clans ruled vast underground kingdoms and treasures beyond imagination. Now, picture how these leaders came to hold the 7 rings of power, gifts from a dark for seeking control. The rings were created during the Second Age by the elven smiths of a region, under the influence of Sauron, who secretly forged the one ring to dominate all others. Sauron's plan was to distribute these rings to the leaders of Middle-earth's peoples, including the dwarves, to extend his reach. The 7 rings were specifically made for the Dwarven lords, who led the 7 great dwarf clans. These clans descended from the original 7 fathers of the dwarves, created by the Valar. The original dwarves were unique because their spirits returned to their bodies over generations, making them effectively immortal in a way. When the rings were forged, the reigning Dwarven lords of these clans received them as tokens of power and wealth. Sauron's agents, disguised as emissaries or messengers, delivered the rings directly to these leaders. The rings were presented as symbols of authority and prosperity, tempting the dwarves with their promise of endless riches. Unlike the rings given to men, which quickly enslaved their minds, the dwarves proved resistant to Sauron's direct control. Their strong wills and love of craftsmanship kept them from becoming race. Still, the rings amplified their natural traits, especially their greed and skill in mining and crafting. This led to the creation of enormous treasure hoards, attracting monsters like dragons and causing conflicts. The greed fueled by the rings also pushed the dwarves to excavate deeper into the earth, which eventually awakened the Balrog in Khazad-dûm. So, while the Dwarven lords did not become Sauron's slaves, the rings still played a part in their downfall. They were given as gifts of power and wealth, but their influence led to greed, destruction, and chaos. The rings did not enslave the dwarves directly but stirred their ambition and desire for riches, which brought many dangers. The story of how the Dwarven lords received these rings shows how even gifts of power can have unintended consequences, especially when driven by greed and ambition.